welcome back to another episode of Wedding Chimes with Val.
Woohoo! I love this podcast. It's so informative. It's like I want to get married all over again. And now I know exactly how.
I don't.
I do. I want to just like go down that aisle and well, I don't know about that whole
Better yet, be a wedding planner so you can do it every weekend without actually doing it.
Every weekend, yeah.
But I like that. I like that whole process leading up to it. It's so much
All the
fun.
excitement, all the emotions, you can't go wrong.
Oh my God, that's very emotional.
It is.
It
It could be.
Yeah.
It can be.
I know. And then when everybody's in, they're all crying. I'm like, don't cry, I'm not crying.
I did my makeup. No.
I just spent like $400 on my face. All right? And my hair. Yeah. So that's, those are.
Welcome, guys. Wedding Chimes with Val. How was your week? Hour.
Oh my God.
Sorry, that's funny. Well, because we come out bi-weekly.
Yes.
But it doesn't mean we film bi-weekly.
That's right.
Right?
That's right.
But,
we just love each other so much, we have to do more than one.
That's right.
It's all about weddings.
It's all about weddings.
Can't go wrong.
Right. And in this very moment, Val is going to hit us up with another amazing topic.
Yes.
For this episode, it's going to be about wedding planning schedules.
Oh.
Yeah.
Not a schedule.
It's a lot.
So what happens?
So, bottom line, I tell all my clients, past and present, just think of a schedule just as a game plan. Don't overcomplicate the schedule. Just keep it very simple.
Yeah.
So even if you're not working with a planner, or if you are, it'll be easier. But point is, you could even do it on Excel, whatever.
Yeah.
Just have a timeline when things have to be, let's say, paid, or when to book certain vendors, and what did you already plan or already booked.
Yeah.
So there's think of it this way, there's 3 different tabs on Excel.
Okay.
So you could keep updated with, what's happening. And with a planner, we have software for that I subscribe to, or other planners subscribe to. Every planner has their own way of doing things.
Okay.
But one of my main jobs is to make sure we're on schedule.
Yes.
So even if you're working solo, it's important to just be on top of things, because you don't want to forget certain vendors.
Yeah,
it happens,
That's true.
right?
Oh my goodness.
I had a case where a past client, they forgot to book certain vendors because they thought they had enough time, but they didn't. So at the end, we had to end up finding whoever was available for that day. It turned out fine.
Yeah.
But that's why schedule is important. It's just the bigger picture.
Not to forget to pay someone.
Yeah, or the pay schedule too. That's important too.
So as a planner, do you put the band and the DJ first on the list? Just pay them right away, please?
Usually they're the first ones to be paid.
Thank you.
Believe it or not,
Nice.
because without them,
You ain't dancing.
you won't have a party.
It doesn't.
It just wouldn't. So, everyone has a contract, so it's important to read those contracts and put that date when the payments, or if it's not clear, just ask the vendor saying, when do I have to pay you? When's the deadline?
Yeah. That's
So
true.
again, open communication is great for the schedule, because you know what's going on. Or if you work with a planner, we'll ask saying, hey, when's the deadline to pay, or when is the last balance due? Okay. So, and then I put it in the little schedule, be like, okay, this is when it's due.
Yeah.
That's great.
So it's important, and again, schedules don't have to be so intimidating. It could just be a list.
And it's funny, most clients, they have a schedule for everything.
Yeah.
Everything is timed except the payments. That's not timed.
And
that's
the thing. There's so many schedules, but most clients forget to add the payment part.
Yeah.
Because they think they'll remember, but then they don't, and then vendors have to chase after them, and it's
oh my
awkward.
God, it's so annoying
Brutal.
when going up to someone. It's their wedding.
Yeah.
They're half smashed, and you're like,
Hey, by the way,
take care of us, whatever. And they're like, no, I'll come and see you during the week. I'm like,
it doesn't work. Yeah, it doesn't work
you're
like
not
that.
gonna come during the week. First of all, you signed the contract.
Yeah.
Because why do I have to run around?
Yeah.
Because now I've got to pay my guys.
Yeah.
I've got to pay my employees.
It's true.
Why do I have to run around to 15 different houses to give this guy his money or send a
true.
check? I know you
It's
could do it by
true.
e-transfer and stuff like that, but
It's easier,
it's
but
just like,
still.
at Walmart, you pay on the spot. Or
You
else
don't wait 2 weeks
You don't
later
wait 2 weeks later.
to
And we
pay.
all know you're going on a honeymoon, so like
Forget
when you
it,
say,
yeah.
forget it. Like, oh.
And how you mentioned, like, some clients have for everything. Personally, as a planner, that's overkill.
Yeah.
like there's a certain amount of schedules that you could have.
Yeah.
In my opinion, I met clients, they had like one for everything, which is great.
Yeah.
But then as a planner, I'm like, I have to make my own because their schedule just doesn't, it's missing a few things.
Okay.
So that's why when I meet any client of mine, past and present, I'm like, look, this is the one I work with usually. This is how I do it.
Okay.
And that's it, you know, and we go from there. And that's how I do it. You know, I have my softwares that I use to have it all in one place, or Google Docs, you know, so it's not all over the place, the schedule.
Okay.
And that's what makes it easier, you know, to be more organized, because too many is overkill, and that's how you get stressed.
Oh,
And I
okay, yeah, that
find,
makes sense.
and I find with the more schedules, it becomes overwhelming for the bride or groom, because they're referring so much to that schedule of the planning leading up that they forget. That's how you could forget certain elements, because you don't realize that you're so focused on that schedule that you're like, oh, maybe I forgot this one or that one. So it's there's a certain, you know, there's a fine line again.
Do you find the schedule is important more during the day or at night during the party?
Personally, I find during the day, because how, again, many planners work differently and everyone has how they want to do it. But for me, during the day, for the wedding day schedule, so their schedule, which is important,
Yeah.
it's everything that happens. So I have everything written down at the time it should be at.
Okay.
But in the night, usually for me, I say when the dance floor is opened, like let's say around 9:30, let's say, that's when everything is done. Like the dances, any traditions, the food is pretty much done, the dessert table.
Okay.
And that's when the party happens, which I let the DJ or band control, because they really need a room, and that's it.
Yeah.
So I find during the day, that's where I come in more, and then during the evening is the DJ or the band, and I let them do their thing. I don't even.
Well, I mean,
I don't.
It's important
Yeah.
to get through what you need
Exactly.
to. The problem is, I feel like sometimes the micromanagement, in the sense of, it's 8:48, and the groom's dad has to say a speech.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, but they're serving right now.
Yeah, you can't. It's
So, like,
And that's the
it's not the
thing,
end of the world if it's 8:58.
Yeah, and for me, that's okay too, because things happen, things are delayed, you know, just
You
know,
have to
to
go
work
and
with
you
it, I
have to
guess.
go
with the vibe
flow.
of the night,
Yeah.
the flow.
And
It's
that's
important.
why when I tell my clients, when it comes to the wedding day schedule, it's just a baseline. If we're on time, great. If we're not, 10 minutes later, you're still gonna have a great time.
Yeah.
So even I tell the band or the DJ, I'm like, look, but they know it. We're on the same page.
Yeah.
We understand each other. So it's just to reassure the client, saying, look, at the end of the day, if it's 8:40 or 8:58, you're still gonna cut your cake after the speech.
Yeah, exactly.
And I let it go with the flow, because at the end of the day, if it's so micromanaged, it's not gonna be fun.
But you can't, even if you
know,
wanted to, like,
can't.
you know, I can guesstimate how long it's going to take to serve a main course.
Yeah.
So I can guesstimate and say, okay, 45 minutes we should. But what happens if it's 52 minutes?
Because the kitchen, for whatever reason, something, you don't know, or maybe ceremony finished early because it just did, and you have to do cocktail a bit earlier, so everything will be bumped up, and that's okay.
You know, or if the venue has another wedding at the same time, like you're 300 people at your wedding
and another
200
two
somewhere else, they can't do both main courses at the same
it
time.
has to
It's
be
not going to happen. So
exactly. So
the maitre d' will come and see me and say, make them dance for 20 minutes because I got to finish serving the other side.
And speaking about maitre d', it's usually like, it depends. You know, usually it's the planner or the DJ or the band, or it's all three of us being like, okay, what's realistic that could happen?
Yeah.
Because usually when it comes to the wedding, I'm like the spokesperson for the clients, then the DJ, and then so we're all huddled somewhere, like, okay, let's look in the light. Where's the light? Because we're looking like, okay,
What's
happening there?
this makes sense. So we not play by ear. I mean, we're professionals. We've done this before, but it's more just to reassure the clients and just a good flow. And I always try my best to send it a month before the schedules to everyone, so the vendors have the time to look it over if there's any problems.
Okay.
And if there's any problems, well, you come to me and I'll handle it.
Like, part of flow is if you're gonna do speeches. Now, if you have 20 speeches all at the same time, it's too long.
Yeah.
But if you have 2, don't break them up. Because
Keep them. It
Keep
saves
them together.
time.
Yeah.
And it's nicer to not just one random speech and the chinging and then
But the flow, right? Because what happens if people start dancing? When
it'd
there's
be
a
weird.
speech, you have to like there's
have
a
to
dance
stop,
floor that's
yeah.
full, and you have to stop to say, "Hey,
It's-
Frank has to
it's-
say
It's weird.
the same speech we've heard 500 times."
Usually, when it comes to that, if I say there's a speech, I say do it when people are seated, so eating or the course is just served, that everyone knows there's food coming.
Yeah.
Let them eat while you talk.
And they are going to pay attention because there's nothing happening else, so they're going to have to focus on the person speaking. So they're seated, they're happy, they're eating, they're drinking their wine or juice,
Yeah.
whatever, and they're in good mood.
Yeah.
And I always make sure, let's say example, there's like a 3-course meal, right? I make sure the speeches are done during that time. So I do, let's say 2, 2, 2. Let's say there's 6 people, I clump it into 2. And then what I like to do, just a little something is before the dance floor opens, I usually do the bridal room because it's like a nice finish, to
exactly.
the evening, like the final speech. I like to keep them for the end, not the beginning.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like I like to build that momentum, and it's like the final speech, and then you go and then
Have
you
a
go.
good time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so far it worked. But everyone
Nice.
is different, cultures, traditions. So sometimes I can't do that, but I always tell my couples when and I usually make it with them to schedule. Like I have a base,
Yeah.
and then we add things, remove. This has to be at that time or this. Like let's say you have traditions or different traditions or
Yeah, sure.
cultural thing. It's good to incorporate, of course. But I always try to have them speak last because it's fun. Like everyone's waiting, and then
Yeah.
Yeah.
you go
That's the
party.
grand finale,
That's
right?
it.
And everyone's still aware, everyone's still
Yeah.
present,
And not hammered,
and
yeah.
not hammered. But not only that, but like the DJ obviously knows it's coming, so then
Yeah.
you start to talk, and then you
Yeah,
go.
we like I like to know as well. Like,
Yeah.
I'm the band leader in the sense that I'm working with the flow, so I've got to make the band
Yeah.
sync up with the crowd so that it flows.
Yeah.
So if I know that a speech is coming in 10 minutes, my set is gonna start winding down. Like I'm not gonna have the highest energy music at that point because I don't want to just cut that dry.
Exactly.
I feel it's annoying. And I've had certain circumstances once, and I was so angry because I'm on stage and the people are just having a blast, partying, and we're playing.
And then there's
cool.
Yeah.
So someone comes and says, we have to do the speech now. It's 9:55 or whatever. And I said, people, look at the dance floor, man. It's fucking hopping.
You
And
don't.
they're like,
you have to.
no, now.
Yeah.
And
right?
that's why
So I
I
said-
give it a month in advance.
I said, okay.
Yeah.
I said, okay,
Yeah.
now. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. We'd like to call up, whatever the name is for the speech. And, oh, she's in the bathroom. Give her 10 minutes and she'll
yeah.
come back. I'm like, you fucking made me cut the party, made me stop. Now, how am I going to get people back
up again.
to make them
It
sit
kills-
down? Because when she
it
comes back
kills-
from the bathroom,
It kills the vibe.
destroys the
And
vibe.
that's why I always try to give it in advance. So if there's an issue, like sometimes you can't predict,
Yeah.
but I always send it also to the venue manager too, because they know their venue. They know there's another wedding that day.
Yeah.
They know, so you do what you can. And if you're not working with a planner, it's always good to communicate ahead of time. Or if you're not sure, you could ask the venue manager for an example. Or even could Google schedules, and it could give you a better idea realistically based on when you're starting.
Yeah.
And in the schedule, I start, getting ready time. Because then that interferes with the ceremony, right? If you're not ready and you're not done pictures. So in that schedule, I always say add everything.
Yeah.
Don't skimp on the details. Because if you don't have it, you won't remember. Because you're going to be busy running around and you're not going to be like, oh, the photographer needs 2 hours.
Yeah.
And if you cut that time, you just wasted your 8 hours that your photographer's there.
Yeah.
So
I see.
and it's important
That's
to...
another thing. Oh my
And
God.
that's
Very good.
because then if a photographer is not done, which it happened before,
Yeah.
something happens, whatever reason, and then you're like, okay, but now we have to back up the ceremony. Then you're ready, but we have to wait 20 minutes for the bride to arrive and hide wherever she's hiding, or wait for the groom because there's traffic. So I always say include everyone. The photographer, you don't have to go into really detail, but the photographer has their own version of the schedule based on the main one. They have their own separate, but it's a guide.
Yeah.
So don't overwhelm it. Just keep it simple, but include everyone. Like let's say florist delivery too.
Yeah,
When are the
true.
flowers coming, right? Because if you don't have the flowers on there, the venue manager maybe won't know. And some venue managers, are better than others, but most of the time they're like, okay. And some now more and more venues ask for you to fill out their form. Like it's not really, it just gives them an idea of timing wise, and it says who's the florist, what time. But again, you know, don't forget anyone, because if you forget, you're gonna forget on your wedding day, and you're like, well, we forgot the florist.
And you need the planner, because what's important is that you need a pro to be involved in this. Everyone has to be involved.
Yeah,
because
exactly.
I could name you so many situations. Like no one knows everyone else's business, so you need to discuss it. So if the photographer leaves at 9,
you have to know when.
You have to know.
Make sure all the pictures are taken.
Right
by 9.
Because I've had
don't
so
forget
many.
You have hair, makeup, and whatnot. So you have to factor that in
during the night. What happens is like I'm trying to run the night to make it musically fun, because they have to have fun.
Right.
And all of a sudden, dance floor is full.
You get the photographer saying, "When do I leave?"
Says, "I gotta leave. Let them cut the cake." It's like, dude,
but it's not my. I just got everyone dancing.
I just got everyone dancing. You're gonna destroy the whole vibe because you have to leave.
And
now, I don't want to blame him,
because no one's the point of, and the couples dancing.
But it's like, okay, well, it's, you know, because you have to leave, and sometimes some photographers, they hate, I don't know. They walk in, hey, do this here, and they're telling me when to do my job, and
no,
it's like,
it doesn't.
well, no, I'm doing my job. You do whatever the fuck you want.
You know, I met different types of vendors, photographers, and at the end of the day, a planner, you know, they're just to be the middle person. So if the DJ,
but the planner knows. More or less, she's worked with photographers, so she knows, so she'll get them in before it becomes a problem.
Or what I like to do is sometimes, like when everyone's eating or whatever, I even say, example, the cake cutting, do when everyone's sitting down. No one, you don't have to really announce it.
Exactly.
If that makes sense, like you could get away with cutting it just you two.
But they need the pictures.
But you need the pictures, So at the end of the day, it's like, okay, just do it before everyone dances. And if I see a window, I'm like, okay, let's do it now. It'll take 2 seconds. Like,
it's good.
My biggest pet peeve. You're learning the behind the scenes from a band's point of view. When the bride and groom wants to take family shots, and they do it either on the dance floor so no one could dance, or they go outside. So the photographer says, but sometimes they don't even know. The photographer wants to take 1 million shots because they get paid on the amount of shots. And they'll grab the bride and groom and
just
take them out of the room for an hour.
You don't do that.
And you're like, you guys don't realize that if the bride and groom are not here, no one's partying. No one's
exactly. And what I usually do, let's say if there's family pictures, I always say do it during cocktail hour. So no one's like in the reception room. Everyone's still
lingering in the hallways and whatever.
Exactly. Or do it when you're getting ready. Let's say if it's like separate family, let's say the bride side, groom side, do it with everyone there. Like in the room already. Let's say the whole family, so you don't have to do it later.
New Year's Eve, I wanted to kill because we had a wedding. New Year's Eve, it was fun. It was a fun wedding. Just that they decided, like at 11, to take family shots on the dance floor. I'm like,
that's
what
bad.
The fuck?
You had all day, and you wait till almost midnight.
It's almost midnight, like, and now then if the band doesn't play, it looks like they're not working.
Right.
But what music am I going to play while you're taking pictures? And the guy's trying to tell you, oh, put your head here, put your head there.
It's weird.
Could you lower the music, please? They're like, fuck, I'm fucking playing. I'm playing a live instrument here.
It's that's bad. But let's say family pictures, always say, do it in the morning when you're dressed.
What's the day for?
And then you have cocktail hour too. So if you want more, you could go outside, like let's say in the front here or in this area, or you can even go in the reception room because no one's there. So you can easily get away with going there, take the pictures.
Let the party be the party.
And no one's gonna know that you're gone because they're like, oh, they're taking pictures of cocktail hour.
But that's normal. That would be a normal thing,
so
especially during that time.
In the schedule, some couples do a first look, just them two, and then some are like more traditional. They're like, okay, I'm gonna just do it after ceremony. Okay. As long as we take. And speaking about pictures, I always tell the couple to write down a list of pictures that they want.
Oh, nice.
So like 10, let's say your top 10 that you must have, including family, let's say couple, let's say if you like the Ferris wheel in the Old Port, I want to take a picture near there or wherever. Like to do at least the top 10 knowing you'll have those 10 pictures. But again, the photographer will have to try their best to make it happen, but that's their responsibility. But always in the schedule, if I always say just photographer taking picture. I don't specify because I don't want to put that false information if
Yeah.
that's not going to happen at that time. But most of the time, the photographers I worked with did a good job. I mean, I can't complain.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I always try to make sure if they leave at 9, they're done by 9. And let's say the photographer needs to stay, I keep that between the couple and photographer. I do not get involved in there.
Yeah.
And it happened before. I had the photographer finish, and the couple was like, "Oh no, we need more pictures."
Oh, so he's probably charging
So
them. That's
he,
for sure.
yeah.
I'm pretty sure he did,
Yeah.
but that's between. I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm not in that conversation. I promise. Like I told, it was before that, so I leave that up to them. If they want to stay, it's between them two. I'm not there to make a decision, but I do try to make sure when the photographer's trying to say, "Do you get everything?" They're like, "Yeah, okay. Well, if you got everything and more, then fine."
Yeah, exactly.
Then, and of course, during the day, there's gonna be candid pictures, this, that. So there'll be thousands of pictures, but sometimes you want those top 10. So in the schedule, like separate, I always give the photographer the list. Okay, this is what the couple wants, if you can.
Yeah.
If it's doable. If it's raining outside, okay, you might have to move half. But if it's nice weather, then you don't have to worry.
Yeah.
So it really depends on the weather, depends on
And the
this.
person.
Yeah.
I remember when I got married, I told my photographer, I said, "Cocktail, I give you an hour.
Yeah.
Do it. Tell me whatever you want.
Yeah.
Put me here, put me there. Cut the cake, cut my ass, whatever.
And
you want,
you
I
could
don't care.
even cut the cake before.
Whatever.
Yeah,
Like
I
you don't
Yeah.
have, like it's
I
just
don't- like,
a
I really don't
picture. You
care.
don't have to do it necessarily. You don't even have to cut it. You could just go, like you don't even
Yeah.
have to, just.
No, and I'm like,
Yeah.
after that, the minute we're eating,
Yeah.
don't bug me.
Yeah.
Like if you catch me and you want to take shots, take
Go,
100 shots.
go for it. Yeah.
I don't care.
Yeah.
But do not, please don't. I don't want to be fake. It's fake. Like
It's forced.
It's
you,
so forced.
You want to
Exactly.
be candid,
totally
flowy.
Yeah.
casual.
And that's
the
why,
moment.
and that's why the schedule is important because you could tell the photographer during the reception, maybe I just want the first dance and the father, son, mother, whatever, and that's it. That's all I want. Everything else is a bonus.
Yeah.
So you could play it like that if you're the type that I want that hour and before getting ready, pictures, obviously, you're going to be taking a million. Cocktail hour, you do it like ceremony is big. But ceremony you can't take so many because there's only so many angles you could do,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Like it's the same. You're standing, holding hands, walking down, but that's all you're getting.
Yeah.
And that's it. I had some couples that were like, we don't want pictures during the reception because we want to party.
yeah.
So
we don't want any evidence.
So everyone's different, you know. So it depends on the preference, and that's how you build a good schedule because you know yourselves, right? And as a planner, it's important to know what your likes and dislikes are. So I can say, hey, if you don't like pictures, cocktail hour is great.
Yeah.
You're already all like the not emotion, but you got the ceremony over. You're more relaxed. You're there to party.
You're ready to party.
You're
That's
not
it.
tense, maybe, or nervous, because you could see it on your face. You can't Photoshop that nervousness or anxiety.
You had a little curve for the
you,
smile.
You can't hide it. Trust me. You could try, but it'll be hard to not show you're crying. You can't hide that.
Yeah.
But that's why it's important. You know who you are. You know yourselves well. So you base it on that, your comfort level. And remember, photographer, DJ, all the other vendors, they're there to help you too. So if you're like, hey, let's say if you have a big job for flowers, for example, and the florist's like, well, I need 2 hours, which is actually nothing, 2 hours, goes fast. So okay, they need 2 hours.
Yeah.
But a good rule of thumb is always to give them a buffer. So if you say be here for 10, you finish at noon, and let's say the venue's like, oh, they could come at 9, send them at 9, so they have that time, so it's done before noon.
Yeah.
So if your photographer wants to take pictures of the room setup, they can.
Okay.
So it depends what you value on the schedule too. Let's say you're like, I want the room setup pictures. People do more and more. They want to have the
rooms,
Yeah,
absolutely.
The reveal is something.
I would say so. Yeah.
how it looks is you work so hard to make it happen, right?
Before you go in and destroy it. Yeah,
so
that's it.
basically, usually during cocktail hour, like when they're done your pictures, they go take pictures of the room setup, let's say the table setting, and that's it.
Yeah.
It's a quick job, but still it takes time. So you have to schedule this thing. If I want the room reveal, well, I want the room. So that's another thing you have to take away something to get it. Or if they're a team of 2 photographers, one's there, and it's faster.
Yeah.
So that's really up to the photographer to see how many, like if they need someone else, but everyone's, different,
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, you might end up scheduling. Well, I want, example, more pictures of getting ready, not the room. Okay, so they know to allocate more time there and not there.
Okay.
So it's all about the time allocation and also the buffer space. So you talk to your venue saying, hey, can I come? Can they start setting up at 9? Yes. So you send everyone, like not right away because there'll be too many people in the back coming, trying to park, remove, set up, so you want to have one every hour, let's say. That's what I do. I'm like so I start with the DJ or band because I know they have a whole truck to park, install, take out, set up. I let them come in first. Then it's like, let's say the florist, because I know more or less what it looks like. And then pretty much everyone else is just after that, scattered until, let's say ceremonies at 3 until 2.
The hardest part is dealing with vendors. And
Oh my God, yeah.
And characters, because of course everyone wants to do the best.
Of course,
so
you
get it.
Yeah.
I want to do my best.
Everyone's there to do it.
Everyone's-
to do the best they can.
Yeah.
But the working together sometimes blows my mind because
Sometimes
people
I,
can't.
I
don't
witnessed.
care.
I witnessed.
I can tell you
Yeah,
stories upon
I
stories.
same here. There's so many that I seen, and I had to break up certain. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay,
Well, the hall sometimes will call, the venue will call and say, hey, I booked a conference till 4
God.
o'clock and people come in at 5. So you have
That's
an
so
hour to set up.
stupid.
And I'm like, dude, it takes me an hour just to unload the truck.
and then sound check. You have to do your sound check. You have to do this.
You have no idea what it is. Like
There-
sound check is not
it's not. It's
3
It's
seconds.
serious. You have to sound this. The
Fuck, there's a
tune,
lot.
yeah.
I know, that's
Like
it's true.
it's
I've seen-
impossible. Yeah,
I-
well, what do you want me to do? I booked a party. Okay.
I know when I work with
freaking bad.
DJs or bands, I'm there during sound check.
Yeah.
I'm hearing it all, and I'm like, it's so loud. I'm like, my ears, like, cause they
Yeah.
do it. I don't know you, but I noticed that they do it so loud sometimes
You have
to see the the realistic
Yeah.
max.
Yeah.
And I remember once I'm there just looking everything like, mind my own business. Everything's on time, and then I'm like, oh, like my ear.
No.
So what I do now is I bring the
Earplugs.
earplugs.
Yeah.
I just put them in, and usually I have one out because sometimes
You want to hear what's
it's,
going on?
But I learned the hard way.
Yeah, you want to you have to test the
Yeah,
sound
you have to,
max,
and that's
because-
why it's important to schedule enough time for
absolutely.
you.
You need the time to
Yeah.
unload, to set it up,
And
to-
you don't rush. You
Oh
don't
my
rush that.
God.
And I tell clients, I'm like, I give the band or DJ or both so much time. I give you guys the most time.
You know my favorite.
I
is?
always try to give the most time to you guys because I know it's the longest one to set
My
up.
favorite, being in the business, you're setting up, you set up, and then you
Yeah.
start doing sound check. 5 minutes in,
God.
you do 5 minutes, right? Every instrument has to be tested
Yeah.
and stuff. And then the venue will come up to you, or the maitre d' will come up and say, hey, we got to do our staff meeting. Can
Yeah.
you stop that for half an hour?
Do you have me outside?
Yeah, that's it.
I'm like,
it's
Listen
like-
on the rock
You
or the
gotta
Yeah,
have a-
go.
Yeah.
you got to have a meeting now?
Like
what
of
the
all
fuck?
times,
What,
like
can you not have the meeting before we
Or
get
go
there?
outside.
if it's a
Go
nice
outside.
day or if you have a staff room, don't
Go in
have
the
to
other
do
room.
it.
Like, what
You
the
don't have
fuck?
to do it like right here, right
Oh,
now.
it drives me. Or they
Have
tell
you
you
have an
lower it.
office?
They tell us, hey, can you lower it? It's
But
loud.
more
I'm like,
venues, I feel
What?
fucking
No,
doing
what?
sound check. It's called sound
Sound
check,
check.
to check the sound.
Sound,
So if
not-
I can't put it loud,
yeah.
what the fuck am I checking?
Yeah, it's something else. I always
Yeah.
and that's why when it's set up, I always try to be there, just in case if
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
just circulating,
Yeah.
just on purpose, because you never know.
Yeah.
Most of the time, I let everyone do their thing. I don't interfere. I just say, okay, like it's go time. We're doing the ceremony now, so time it from now, and that's it. But most of the time, I'm there just make sure everything's good. Everyone arrived on time. If they're late, I'm like, where are you? And hello, did you forget about me? Did you have a wedding today?
Yeah.
Did you forget? But I always make sure that everyone's on time and the schedule's being followed to the best as possible. Again, sometimes it's hard because things happen,
Yeah.
but I always try to make sure that it's within even the buffer time. If I'm not down to the last minute, I make sure, let's say, sound check is good before anything. Because then without sound check, forget it.
We got people standing in there and you guys are
Exactly.
doing your sound check.
Especially if you're using the same person for ceremony and reception, like sound check has to be like even earlier. Like let's say at 9 in the morning, you have to check. Like
Whoa, don't.
yeah, well, a little early, but
The musician in me is like.
but I try to be kind to everyone. I try realistically to be like give you at least 2 hours. I try.
Yeah.
you know, and then usually the band or DJ comes up and say, okay, I'm finished.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, if you're good, I'm good. I don't know what you do your thing, I do my thing. We coexist together for that day, and we're fine.
If
Yeah.
ever
You
you
know.
can, if ever you can convince them to do ceremony in another room, is the
Yeah.
best thing
Yeah.
ever. Like tomorrow,
Yeah.
I have a wedding coming up. I think tomorrow, and I
Already
literally
forgot.
have to-
Tomorrow.
Scheduling.
and-
Tomorrow.
Yeah, it's tomorrow, and I have to be there. Such an early sound check because the ceremony's in the room. So
yeah.
we have to do our sound, and it's for us we finish at 1 a.m.
Yeah.
And we have to be there like 2.
And what I try to do too is like, let's say if there's no wedding the day before, I make like the day before the sound check. You know, like
Yeah, it won't happen,
you
but
know,
yeah.
I try.
My musician's gonna come
I
and say,
try
"Fuck
to.
you."
I try to give like realistically. I'm like, let
The
me
setup. You can
like
do
let
before,
me do what I can. Like, cause for me, I forgot who I spoke to. One of the DJs, I think they're like, if it's in the same room, it's easier because you don't have to do like it's. He said it was easier for him. Like, okay, if it's in the same room, okay, teach their own.
Yeah.
A DJ
Two-
sound check and a band sound check is
Two different.
Is a DJ
two
sound
different,
like,
yeah.
is like 4 minutes.
Not it's yeah.
Well, because
Yeah,
the
it's
song
different,
itself is
yeah.
you're playing it from a CD, well, not a CD
A
anymore.
A
Like-
but
laptop
like a-
or a computer.
it's
A laptop.
mastered.
Yeah,
Like
it's
the-
already set in a way.
The song, there was $10,000 spent on mixing this song and mastering it. So,
Yeah.
so your frequencies are pretty much perfect. So you play this recorded sound, and it should sound good.
Yeah.
If your speakers are decent. For us, we need to do the mixing.
It's
Right,
true.
we're doing the
It's
whole.
two
set.
different things.
It's two different things. The room, like you just have to tweak the room when you're doing a CD or a song. When you're
Right.
doing a band, you have to tweak every
It's
instrument.
so different.
It's so different. It's longer and whatever. But it is what it is.
It is what it is, and scheduling is important.
Exactly.
because
So let's give
you know, at the end of-
summary.
yeah,
At
so-
the end of the day, it's super important. to
regardless
schedule.
how big or small your wedding is, scheduling will always play a big part because you need
It's the main
you need
one,
like
right?
it's just a guide.
Yeah.
That you don't have to you don't need 20 different you just need one that makes sense for everyone. And if someone needs, let's say the photographer needs their own, they could take what they have in yours and then make their own.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's it. That's all you need. You don't have to because more complicated, you'll forget things. And if you forget things, you'll be stressed.
Yeah.
And if
More-
you're stressed, you'll be worried and anxiety.
Simple is always
And it'll
better.
show on
Ruins
your
the day,
face.
and it ruins your day.
Yeah.
Be as simple as possible. Make sure everybody, all your vendors, know what it is
Ahead of
so
time.
it can be
Yeah.
it can be worked out. And if you have to change it, you do it ahead of time. Right?
At least like a month. But like it
if a
could be-
vendor can look at it and say,
Yeah.
"I can't do it," and that's not possible. So,
well, you just
know.
give them more time.
Yeah, switch it,
and,
or you can switch
and
it
that's
before.
why you send it, or the vendors will ask for it, but always send it a bit early if you can, because if not, like you just said, if something there's like an interference. Let's
Yeah.
say if you're doing another job, let's say the florist has to do 10 weddings that day. Well, you might be number 2. But
Yeah.
then if they're like, well, I need more time, I need more staff, we have to come earlier. But they'll tell you that.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry. They'll tell you, hey, we need more time. So you ask with the venue saying, hey, can they come at, let's say, 9?
Yeah.
Okay, that works, even better for everyone. So it's not your job to make sure, it's your job to send it, but they'll tell you if there's a problem. If there's no problem, you don't have to fix it.
Okay, that makes perfect sense.
That's simple. If there's no problem, you don't fix anything. But at the end of the day, if you know, you have to go with the flow.
Excellent.
End of the day, just,
End of the day.
just
of the
go
day.
with,
The end
just
of
go,
the day, the schedule's done.
like it or not, it's done.
So that leads us right now into, well, speaking about DJs and
Yeah.
music, it leads us to our next segment, which is...
The
Val's song of the day.
Yes.
Woo!
So this song is called "Grow Old with You" by Adam Sandler from The Wedding Singer.
Oh yeah,
Movie.
I love that song.
Yeah,
in the movie.
yeah, I watched that movie. That's why I'm like, oh,
It
this
is a good
This is a
song.
good one. I gotta use this. So yeah, again, never heard it before at a wedding.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying
Very
it'd be nice
nice.
if you're lacking inspiration. Again, there's many different versions. Go on YouTube, you'll
I think
see.
from that movie, was it that movie or 50 First Dates where he played the ukulele
Yes,
and
yeah.
played
I think
Somewhere Over the Rainbow?
I
don't-
think it's 51st Dates.
I don't
it was
remember.
Yeah.
I don't remember. But all I know is that there's many variations.
Yeah.
So you do what you want, but it's
Yeah.
a good. I think it's a very uncommon song, but it could be very special.
True.
Yeah.
Because you
I
won't
agree.
hear it at 10 other weddings you'll be going to in
And you
December.
can always say a comedian sang your opening dance.
It's true. You could.
Right?
You could say that technically, but definitely when it comes to wedding songs, it has to have some
Yes,
meaning.
it has to have
something,
depth.
you know.
Yeah.
It can't just be a song. No, it has to be something meaningful.
Absolutely.
So if a song is important to you, I say go for it.
Go for it.
Go for it.
Go
Awesome.
for it.
And now,
Yes.
Val's thought of the day. Camera one.
Yes. I'll read it off my phone. So and I quote, "The most popular wedding day in 2024 is expected to be September 21st, 2024, according to the knot.com." So that's
September 20.
first, 2024. Apparently, it's going to be the most popular wedding day.
Amazing.
Clear your schedules.
According to the knot.com,
Not.com.
based on their surveys.
Lisa, your thought on her thought.
Well, I
Clear
don't
your
know what the
schedule.
most popular one. but-
According to the knot.
according
So-
to 2024. But for me, I think I have it. You know what? I agree. I think fallish times.
It's a good like. It's not too hot, not too
and
cold.
not exactly.
You can still have the fun colors or the darker colors.
Exactly.
You could play with that.
Yeah, I think it's
September.
It's a very comfortable time. It's not too hot, not too cold.
You're not gonna get sick of the AC. You
Yeah,
know,
exactly.
You could play with that.
Exactly. I think it's a comfortable.
You can't go wrong with
Time.
September weddings.
I love it.
It
September,
depends
October,
on
not
October
November.
is a little cold.
Yeah.
I find it depends on the night,
Yeah.
but you have the fall colors,
Yeah.
the tree changing colors, so it really depends on what you want
I
in a
totally
wedding.
agree. I think that's very special. So,
So-
that's for me. That's my thought on your thought. I think the September idea is a way to go. And to all of you guys who are planning and gals who are planning, go for it.
Go for September 2024.
Wait, now there's my
21st,
thought. Now there's my
2024.
thought.
Yes.
You
Do I
could
get-
drink in 2024.
Do I get a thought? I get a thought, right?
You
a
could
thought
think?
on the
No,
thought.
kidding.
Yes.
We're gonna call this segment Steph's thought
On the thought of the
Okay.
day.
Okay. My thought is September 24, the most popular day.
20.
Charge more. Love it. I love it. Right? If it's popular, I can charge more because many people want it. So
The 21st
You're
is
gonna be in-
apparently a popular day, so we'll
yes,
see.
you can make more money.
We'll see.
God.
I'm very
What an
curious.
asshole.
Very curious with the most popular.
I'm very curious too. Who's going to be really busy that day?
Yeah.
Let's put it in our schedules.
You know, I'm already I can tell you already, but
For
we
sure.
already have 6 or 7 weddings for 2025.
Oh, already?
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah, we are,
Interesting.
yeah.
I'm getting a few inquiries also for 20. It's odd, but I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna say no.
It's,
Sure.
The thing with the music or band is that we're only one band, so
You don't have this only.
so if we're booked, you don't get us.
Yeah,
Like, if
same
that's
with
the
a
date.
planner. Like if I'm it's only me,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So every planner, either they have an assistant or they're alone. So it's like once you're booked, you're booked.
Yeah.
Sometimes what I like to do is do back-to-back weddings, like Saturday and Sunday.
Nice.
But then
That's a killer.
But then I question on Monday. I'm like, but why? I always think I'm like, but why did I do that? But it's worth it, for sure at the end.
I love it. I've done so many.
I've done it before. It's fun, but it's just for me at least.
I've done 4 in 2 days.
I'd cry. I don't know. I'd question. I'm like, but why do I do this?
I've done 4 in 2 days. Literally.
Oh, I believe you. Yeah.
because I'll do a ceremony, and then I'll do a cocktail.
Right.
at
So
one,
you go like that.
big wedding,
Yeah.
and then I'll do another. The thing is, for us, it's we're playing 3 sets.
Yeah. So in a way, you could better,
No.
But I've done back to back. It's fun. It's great.
Yeah.
But then Monday morning, I'm like, ouch.
Yeah, whatever.
Something
Reality sets in.
hurts.
You deal with Monday on
Yeah.
Tuesday.
Exactly.
That's it. Okay, well we're done on
Yes.
this episode.
What episode are we at? This is episode
4.
I believe, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's 4 already.
We
That's-
are building.
It goes
wow,
fast,
I was
eh?
going to say it goes very fast.
We're building a momentum here. We now we know, where we can joke, where we can't. We're building a camaraderie here.
Yeah.
It's fun.
That's
It's gonna
awesome.
be a
That's
fun-
awesome. I actually love this.
It's fun.
This podcast.
You can't
and
go wrong with
No.
wedding planning and podcasts.
Exciting.
Weddings are fun.
Weddings are
Come on.
weddings are fun.
Yes.
Like you always like guest or planner, right? It's always fun. You can't go wrong with it.
I
You
love
can
it.
never be sad at a wedding, okay?
Yeah. you're
Like
right.
not
it's true.
It's true. You're always excited. It's exciting. Everyone around you is excited. People invited are looking forward to it.
Yep,
So
it gives you a reason to dress up, look
a reason
good,
to go out.
party.
Exactly. You
Yeah.
can't.
Lisa's funny because whenever, like, if I play a wedding and we end up filming and it's like, did you play this weekend? And be like, yeah, I played. I had a wedding or whatever. The first question she always asks, what did they serve?
It's true. You
What's
want
the food?
you want to know. It's like, well,
I'm bad, eh?
it's
like
like
Italian.
but it's good to know. Even me too. When I look at the menu, I'm like, oh, that looks good.
That looks good.
I hope they pick that. That one looks really good. I wouldn't mind eating that later. So I'm just as worried. And I take sometimes pictures of the food because I remember how
yeah.
good it was. I'm like, that looks good.
I like the midnight bar.
I'm
dessert
guilty.
bar.
I'm guilty of just taking screenshots. I'm like, that looks good.
And that's
Of
it.
course. It's the best part. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. So alrighty, so thanks so much
Thank you
everybody
for tuning in.
Yeah.
Exactly.
We're on the same schedule.
So on your schedule,
Yes.
subscribe on YouTube,
Instagram,
Spotify, Instagram,
Facebook.
Facebook, Apple
Apple. I was
Podcasts,
gonna say Apple.
everywhere.
We're gonna be everywhere.
Just
so
subscribe.
just subscribe.
That's it. Just look for us. 'cause
You'll
we're
find
everywhere.
us. You'll
Yeah.
find us.
We are going to be everywhere, and we're going to be coming back with a 5th episode soon.
Yes.
So stay tuned.
Stay tuned. Yes. Bye.
Bye.